welcome back to the channel, and welcome back once again to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Today we are going to be taking a look at the GSX add-on ground handling thing. Well, it really just falls apart once I start trailing off from what the dev has to offer. But anyway, we're going to be taking a look at GSX. It is a payware add-on for ground handling of aircrafts. Gives you everything from pushback tugs, baggage handlers, catering services, follow me cars, and more. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into our Phoenix Airbus A320 and take a look at what GSX has to offer. Alright, so on board the Phoenix A320, first thing we're going to want to do is get fuel going. We're significantly low on fuel for any flight that we might want to do, so we're going to go ahead and refuel the aircraft. The GSX menu is only activated as of right now through the Flight Sim tab. I do wish that it had a standalone kind of menu that you could have either off to the side or even confined in the window of Flight Sim. But anyway, we're going to do refueling, and then we're going to select Delta Airlines as our handling operator, because obviously we're in a Delta aircraft.
Is on its way.
So you can see if I hop outside of the aircraft, all of our various Delta Airlines ground handling equipment is now here. We've got baggage handlers, we've got tugs, all labeled in Delta Airlines. Our air stairs out to the rear, all labeled in Delta. In a lot of cases, you can actually configure this to automatically do your carrier of choice. It does all the major carriers, both international and US based. The GPU is a Phoenix Sim edition, so that's just part of the airplane. Unless we'll hang out for a little bit, wait for the fuel trucks to show up. So just off in the distance there, I can see our little Isuzu fuel truck is pulling up. You can see we actually have added markings and interaction points for the fuel crew. There's a Jet A1 fuel receptacle. In addition, they're not installed in this airport. We're at Dane County Regional in Madison. But you also have the option for jetway stands, as well as not jetway stands, I guess tarmac stands, as well as the on larger airports, the jetways will be marked with the airport that you're at, as well as the airline on the opposing side. In this case, being a smaller airport, it's just airline handlers. That's neither here nor there. Here comes our fuel truck. Gonna cascade through these pallet loaders like they always do. There you go. Never a dull day.
Fuel truck is in position.
And then these guys are gonna hop out of the fuel truck. And they're gonna get to work. So straight away you've got our, we'll call him nozzle man here. He's going to go ahead and open up the fuel nozzle here. And then our guy actually doing the refueling, he's going to grab the fuel nozzle which he just lowered and bring it on over. And again, all of this is animated, so if you did want to just sit here and watch this in real time like we're doing now, you can. Or if you're actually setting up for a flight and that sort of things, you can be fiddling with your radios, your FMS, your altimeters, whatever pre-flight stuff you're doing, getting your clearance, that sort of thing. So in a minute here, we'll get that flag unfolded, and then we'll be prompted by GSX to set our fueling, or our desired fuel level in the aircraft. He's climbing up to the wing. Fortunately, it doesn't look like there's actually a modeled panel on the Phoenix, but those fueling points do look fairly accurate to me.
Please use your airplane fuel system to set the desired fuel quantity.
Okay. So back in the Phoenix, we're going to go into the Phoenix Sim tab, load up the Phoenix app, and we're going to go to mass and balance, and we'll set our fuel.
Please use your airplane fuel system to set the desired fuel quantity.
I did that. So now you can see our refueler is fueling. You can see our total number of... That's gallons? Or no, that's pounds. That's pounds that it's loading. So we've got 185 gallons. Nope, it is gallons that it's loading. And that'll tick up in real time, and then once it's finished, it'll give us a dollar amount as well, so you can suffer with the real price of Jet A and Hunter Lowlight. I'm told that it actually pulls from real published figures at worldwide locations, which is very cool. So you could, in theory, do a flight, land, come home, and refuel and be at the same prices and relive the same horror of fueling that you did in the real world. Anyway, he's got a little ways to go, so we're going to go ahead and wait for them to finish. I'll skip ahead. I'll wait for them to finish. I'll catch you guys once they're finished up fueling. So there you can see we finished fueling, and our total cost is $4,956 US. Good gracious. They finished fueling. And while they're departing, we'll go ahead and call in our next thing to showcase here, which is going to be catering. And we'll use LSG Sky Chefs. I think Delta uses either them or maybe DGS actually has their own catering service. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll call them up nonetheless. So he's repacking. Fuel load there. I don't know what... other guy, is he just going to get back in the truck and leave? Oh, wow. A little bit of workplace conflict.
Catering vehicles are on their way.
Catering vehicles are on the way. Hose is loaded back up. And little flag goes back in. I'm sure he'll walk around and get back in the truck and drive away. Thank you for the fuel. It's the goal of GSX is to spawn all of your support equipment out of sight of the aircraft. Now, being at Dane County Regional, it's basically the airport layout is a terminal where we're at here. So you've got a terminal here. All of that is military. 115th, and I forgot the rotary wing. And then over there is all GA stuff, and then on this far corner here you've got corporate hangars. So not really a whole lot you can do as far as spawning out of sight, but I still think it did a pretty good job, especially if you're paying attention to anything around the aircraft. Anyway, catering trucks are here. They're going to go ahead and lower their outriggers and then raise their ramps. Sorry, raise their boxes, then extend their ramps. And the jetway pop in there. It's interesting. So I have an alert from GSX telling me it wants me to do something. It's nothing for me to be doing, so I don't know what it's asking for. Nonetheless, there goes our catering guy. He goes into the airplane, moves these guys about, and then he comes out with the empties. They just spawn and despawn once they go in the airplane, just like passengers and a whole lot of other stuff. But you can actually watch them go into the truck, so we'll wait for that. And then take a look at the next offering. It's got that one. It's the same order of operations on the rear here. far as alignment and placement, it's pretty good. I mean, if you're any distance back, you're not really going to worry too much about the lack of perfect alignment. I saw another YouTuber who was reviewing this who said it wasn't perfect alignment. He was using the PMDG, so maybe I'll do a comparison between the Phoenix and the PMDG. I've used both. They seem to both work very well, so no complaints from me. I might have mentioned it before, but there are two different offerings for tugs. There is the standard tug with a push bar, like we have here. There's actually a smaller tug that can attach to the push bar as well as a large-scale lift and push aircraft. This one outfitted for Spirit Airlines, which I don't think flies into Madison, but whatever. So two different options, different operations for each, different animations for each, which is pretty cool. We'll let catering finish up, then we'll look at passengers and boarding. Alright, so as our catering trucks depart, let's go ahead and get some passengers on board here and talk about offerings from there. So we'll do request boarding.
Boarding requested.
And you can see a whole bunch of other guys swinging action. We've got the tugs. Not the tugs, but the pallet loaders. Our rear air stairs going into position. Cargo door is coming up overhead. In a moment, we'll get these guys loaded up with the air pallets. I forgot what they're called. Those kind of inverted or kind of U-shaped, kind of V-shaped guys that perfectly fit the interior of the aircraft. You have the option either for those or for
Pilot's boarding started.
the option for either those or the normal bag smashers with the ramps. Let's see if I can find some of those guys. Yeah, these guys right here. So we have either the option for what we're utilizing right now or the standard baggage loaders. You can see that one's outfitted in Delta, whereas we have an American? Yeah, an American tug for the bags. So, I'm using a third-party jetway mod, but one thing that GSX also really makes cool for glass jetway airports is you can actually see, in this case, the crew, our flight attendants and pilots, getting onto the airplane if you had a clear jetway. What they'll do in this case is they'll come onto the airplane, make that right turn, then disappear. So, and we'll take a look at some of the animations of the larger baggage types. They do fully rotate and stow the baggage, just like you would see on a real airplane. And fully animated, a little bit of pop in there. That's probably more the sim than anything else. A little bit of hopping on the jet containers, or jet tainer. I have noticed a rather sizable frame rate drop when loading. I don't know if that's the passengers or the baggage system or both. But you do lose quite a few frames while this is going on, so, you know, I guess just be mindful of that. I've tested it in a few different conditions under 5 different airplanes, I think, and it seemed to be pretty consistent as far as the frame rate drop. The frame rate, the amount of drop, I can't really say. I didn't have a counter on. But just visually, you can see the sim's running a little bit slower than it was before. So there's our rotation of the first jet tainer. Second one's going to come on board our forward bay. And offload it to the side. I do like how they animated them to have different weather effects. So it's obviously it's raining right now, and you can see that glistening water on top. There's your rotation. Got our first one on board. I'm not sure how they coded the animations on this, but I do like how they're slightly asynchronous. You know, you're not going to have a perfectly synced up crew doing this sort of thing. And just like with the passengers, they'll slide back out of sight and then disappear. But from a distance, your immersion's still pretty well held. There it goes. And then they'll repeat this for the remaining two. Passenger boarding should still be underway. Let's see if we can see some passengers in the jetway. Oh, there's our jetway operator. Where's our... Oh, looks like they're actually all on board. Which is fine. Maybe the next thing for Phoenix and PMDG to look into would be actually having a populated cabin with people in it. I don't know how much legwork would go into that. Thing is, right now, the cabin, as it sits, looks very nice. If you start adding people models to it, that's a lot of individual polys, and a lot of them are going to have to be different. Either that, or they're going to have to repeat, you know, let's say 5 seats worth of this type of people, and then it just repeats, so... Wait for our baggage guys to finish up. Looks like he's loading his last bag now. And then take a look at the pushback up. Back again with the GSX menu. And we are going to prepare for pushback and departure. And then in some cases you have to remember to disconnect the jetways. In this case, did it automatically. How nice. So back outside. Actually.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
So there's our handler down there. She's going to go ahead and insert the bypass pin. Get our wipers going here so we can see.
Departure checks completed. Bypass pin inserted.
You can see the precision in which they position that bypass pin. I mean, it's pretty dang spot on, even at this distance. So the tug's going to come in wherever he is. There he is. Got the best animation on the tug. So we're now hooked up.
Locking gear.
She's locked the gear onto the tug, and then she's going to jack up the center point here. The other thing to note is the accents actually change based on where you are. So, you know, if you're in the UK, they'll have a UK accent. Azerbaijan, let's say, they'll have an Azerbaijani accent. So it changes based on where in the world you are. Obviously, we're here in the United States, so it's going to be the same accent. Well, the same accent I have. Would be interested to see if, like, we went to, like, I don't know, some, like, deep south place where they have that southern twang. If, they have that degree of, detail, but not checking that today. Continue the pushback. And this is where I always get confused, so we want the nose to go to the right. and the tail to the left, because we're going to be taking off runway 36 today. So we want those left, tail right.
Release parking brakes.
Okay, and here comes the park brake.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Here's the push. And this is where we do our startup. I've got to fiddle with my number one engine here for a second, because it never likes my initial positioning.
Set parking brake.
Park brake on.
Waiting your confirmation for a good engine start.
Might be waiting a little bit on that one. I haven't even started our second engine yet. One thing I will note, so I noticed on the 737 when I was doing it earlier, it does actually accurately line up aircraft. Obviously, we're not flying any of these aircraft today. We're in an A320. And there is a tow bar labeled A320/737. So, I don't know if that's just a discrepancy in this specific case or what's going on there. Let's hop back inside. We should probably have a good engine start by now. We do. Thank you, Airbus, for being oh so automated. We'll go back into the GSX menu. And we'll confirm a good engine start.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Rain's starting to lighten up, so we'll shut off our wipers. And ground handling girl's gonna go back and unhook us.
Unlocking gear.
And yeah, it does do that. It does that in the PMDG as well. I don't know how to not have it settle like that. But there goes the tug.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
She's got the bypass pin removed, and then we would...
Left is clear. Right is clear.
Thank you. And then normally we would go back into the cockpit and wait for her to appear on our left-hand side and wave us off. Alrighty, and following a quick takeoff and landing, I'm going to take a look at the last option, that being the follow me car. So when you request a location, it gives you the option for a follow me car. We're going to say yes. And we're going to do Delta for our handling up. It really doesn't like my stick or throttle today. We're going to go ahead and pull off of the ramp here to the right. 1 minute 12-second arrival on the follow me car. So we'll hold short here and wait for him to guide us. 27 seconds. Alright, follow me car, do your thing, sir. Bit of an abnormal flight. The Airbus isn't too happy right now, just because they didn't have any takeoff speeds or destination or arrival set in the FMS. That is a cardinal no-no in the old Airbus. But, it's alright, we're doing just a demo here, so he's actually going to take us to this gate right here. It's a little less than spectacular, but they'll follow the taxiway center lines and take you to your gate. You can imagine how this would be a much more worthwhile item to have in a larger airport. So there's our marshaller, we're going to follow him in. He's having us come right. More to the right, dude? I'm like over the freaking center line. What do you mean? I'm gonna come left a little. Cut engines, I guarantee he's gonna give us a hideous parking job. Yeah, look how far to the right of the center line we are. But whatever. He marshaled us in, not the other way around. AP bleeds coming on, engines are coming off. That wasn't a very good part. Dude, you told me where to go. So anyway, that's going to do it for this episode. Taking a look at the GSX ground handling. There is that additional virtual little guy there you can use for parking if you want externally. So we're 4.3 feet to the right of center line, 6.8 off of the stop marker, whatever. Currently it's on sale for $30 through the storefront which the devs are selling it on. Is it worth 30 bucks? I'll leave that up to you to decide. I'm a big sucker for all kinds of things that add immersion, so I personally would say yes. We park so far back the jetway can't even reach us. So yeah, I think it's worth it for 30 bucks personally. I mean, think of all the stuff you've wasted $30 on. Is this worth it? I personally think so. I do think it has a little ways to go as far as an improvement, frame rates, extra options. I think the marshalers could use a little bit of work as well, but that's neither here nor there. Close it out here. Thank you very much for watching. I will catch you all in the next video, and until then, go ahead and take it easy.